So the topic that Michelle Nesmith and I tackled was orthopedic impairment. Orthopedic impairment is characterized by an impairment of movement, speech, vision, and/or muscle use. Commonly seen in the classroom are cerebral palsy, spina bifida, and muscular dystrophy. This is Shannon speaking. I personally work with a student as an instructional assistant who has spina bifida. I have him for 2 different periods, and he is confined to a wheelchair but does have some movement of his lower extremities. He has a lot of normal use out of his arms and upper torso. He has, as I will go into it later on in the presentation, he has issues with writing and it being legible for teachers with his homework and notes. The first adaptation deals with accessibility. It is important that physically impaired students have access to the classroom, in addition to the various components within a classroom. The setup is everything. It needs to be wide, open spaces for wheelchairs, crutches, etc. The resource is easily accessed in low, easy-to-reach spaces. The student I work with in the 2 periods has special desks in every classroom that he's in. They are usually on the outline of the classroom, usually closest to the door. He does have to use the restroom quite a bit, so his availability to leave the classroom and accessibility without having to cross in front of everybody and interrupt the class, I think is a necessity, and I think is what works best for this type of student. The second adaptation is difficulties with writing. Like I said, this student, I've read over some of his notes that he takes. I cannot understand pretty much anything that he's writing. He's told me that he definitely deals with pain and discomfort in his hand after writing for a long time, and you can see that in the legibility. Students with physical disabilities may have difficulties with writing or taking notes. As the instructor, enabling the student to have prescribed notes so he or she is able to follow along without worrying about legibility will greatly increase the student's learning ability and create a safe, comfortable learning environment. Now, I know with this particular student, if he's not stressed out about, oh my gosh, we have a test, am I going to be able to understand my own writing? Am I going to have to sit here because some class sessions are heavy on note-taking? Is he going to be overworked? Are we just exacerbating a situation that we shouldn't do as instructors? So I think if we know that we are going to be note-heavy for a particular lesson, that it is our responsibility, and we can take the adaptation of prescribing the notes, printing them off, and allowing him to follow along with these notes. I think that will greatly encourage the learning aspect and also make him feel safe. Helpful resources. Here are some additional resources for educators to learn about physical disabilities and ways to accommodate these students in general education classroom. And then we put a few links. That is pretty much it.